welcome to the Enchantress Society with Tia Johnson, a place where you get to be you, where you get to unlock your magic in a sacred and judgment-free zone. The Enchantress Society is your witchy sisterhood of enchanting women who guides and supports you along your spiritual journey from the mundane to the magical. I invite you to sit for a spell as I interview guests and spill the spiritual tea on how we can create the magical life we deserve. Hello, Enchantress, and welcome back. I hope that you are doing well, and hopefully this full lunar eclipse will do you some justice. Okay. So I was going to do a life update, but I'm going to save that for another episode because there is a lot of information that needs to be covered because we have the full moon portion, also known as the blood moon. And then we have the full lunar eclipse, which is the reason why it's called the blood moon, as you will hear in a few moments. So, yeah, there are two separate events that are happening, but they're happening at the same time. All right. You know, I pulled some oracle cards, all that jazz. If you are new to the Tia Scope portion of this podcast, I created the Tia Scope episodes because I realized that not only was my emotions impacted by the full moon and the new moon phases in particular, I had thoughts that popped up. It was just a lot of thoughts, emotions, and experiences that were making me question, okay, wait a minute, what's really going on? Let me understand these planets and celestial bodies, all that jazz. And so Tia Scope was born. I thought I was being really creative, crafty, with the scope part. So I'm not giving a horoscope or anything like that. This is me breaking down the zodiac and the planets that are impacting us somewhat. I am not an astrologer. That is not part of my path. I know some things about astrology. I know some things about the planets. I'm still learning, but I do a lot of research. And so I'm cutting down on a learning curve for you by giving you some of the footnotes, but I include the links of my research in a description of this episode so you can continue with your independent research, as I always encourage you to do, because it's important. I'm one person giving you a slice of the pie here. Okay. All right. Let's dive into it because we have a lot to cover. I mean, I don't know how many more times I want to say a lot, but a lot. Okay, here we go. I like to start off with, also that's another thing too. I like to add a little of a, I don't want to say different perspective, but an add-on where I also talk about the day the full moon falls on. So, you know, I went to my go-to astrologyking.com for, the summary and better insights. And I have my blog up here, and I just realized out of all the links I have up here, I forgot to include one more. So one moment. I'll be back in that flash. See, you didn't know I was gone. The miracle of the pause button. Okay, so we have the full moon happening on Wednesday. Let's talk a minute or less than a minute, a little bit, about the energy of Wednesday, because this is important. So on the blog, so the blog link is blog.tiamariejohnson.com. I did a series called Magical Days of the Week. And for Wednesday, some of the things I have here is that, well, one, Wednesday is also known as Odin's Day. That's how it was originated. Also, it's associated with the planet Mercury. So there's a lot of wisdom that's going to come about on this day and throughout this phase. And you'll see that this wisdom that comes about is going to be insights into who you are, also the people around you, but you're going to get a lot of insights about yourself, which will lead you to ending certain things that just are not productive in your life. So let me scroll down here before I really get into that part, because I want to talk about the energies of Wednesday. All right. So it also has to do with poetry, self-expression, travel, science, alchemy, medicine, because it also is in relation to the Greek god Hermes. I don't think you pronounce the H. Hermes. Goddess Athena, the planet, like I said, Mercury. So this is a great time also for communication. All right. So when you want to communicate to others, what do you want to communicate with yourself? Wednesdays are a great day to really tap into that energy of, again, wisdom, travel, communication, self-expression. Okay. A little bit of the science, if you want to dive into that. And you can even take that and dive into the science of magic, the science of even the planets, because there's the actual planet that's made up of gas and other things. And then there's the spiritual side of, the meaning of that planet. So you can take the time to do that on Wednesdays and use that energy for this full moon, which is in Sagittarius. Whew, let me tell you, I know a lot of Sagittariuses, and oh my goodness. For the most part, Sagittarius is, at least the ones who I have come across, and I'm aware that I need to know the person's, chart, what's their sun, or excuse me, their rising and moon, zodiac, what are their rising sun and moon sign, and I get all that. But the Sagittariuses who I've met in my life are very generous people, until you make them mad. And then it's like DEFCON 9. Okay. Again, that's what the Sagittarius is I have met. Nice or very hospitable until someone thoroughly pisses them off, and it's World War III. Which makes sense in a way because it is a fire sign. Their ruler planet is Jupiter, which is interesting because Jupiter plays a main role in this phase. It has the strengths here as generous. That's what I was saying. Generous, idealistic, great sense of humor. Weaknesses, I'm not a big fan of that word weaknesses. I just like to think of it as the flip side. Promises more than deliver, very impatient. Yes. Will say anything, no matter how undiplomatic. That is true. Some Sagittarius, they just say things. They don't care who it's to. They don't care if you like it or not. It doesn't even matter if it's right or wrong. It's out there. So think about that energy of that generous, idealistic, great sense of humor. But also think about the flip side of that. Okay, where in your life are you not being generous? And I'm talking about towards yourself, because we got to look at ourselves first before we look at what we do for others. Are you being idealistic? Should you be a little bit idealistic? Have you been too harsh and really just dense, heavy, too much of a realist, And have you given yourself space to be an idealist, to be idealistic? Just a little bit. It helps. Sense of humor. Are you being too rigid during this time? While a lot of things are going to be uncovered during this full moon / lunar eclipse, full lunar eclipse, because there's a partial. Just know that you can still have time for a little bit of laughter, just something. Just don't take things too seriously. A lot of things are going to go down, but don't let that be the thing to also lower your vibe. Okay. You might have a little dip, but make sure that you are checking in on yourself throughout this time, especially because what you don't want to do is to make a promise to yourself that you can't deliver on because you became so impatient for a certain result that you wanted. You've been pushing, being too hard on yourself. So that's why I like to look at what they have here as a weakness as just the other side of the coin. And this is from astrologyzodiacsigns.com. And so the link will be in the description of this episode. But I get it. I like it though. It also talks about travel, which is the energy of Wednesday, or part of the energies of Wednesday. Philosophy, we talked about wisdom. So really dive into, think of one situation, just starting out. So I'm going to jump ahead a little bit. When I do the Tia scopes, I have the background, what's going on, how are we feeling, things we can do, oracle reading. So I'm going to jump to some of the things we can do. Now with full moon, and just like new moon, we feel the energy plus or minus 3 days, meaning 3 days before, 3 days after. I believe sometimes people feel it even longer or more before the 3 days. I feel like I've experienced that. That's just my school of thought with that. So you can take one situation a day. So today's Wednesday, you could do one Thursday, Friday. Hell, do it Saturday. Okay, take a situation that you had on the back burner for a little while. So you're going to dive a little bit into shadow work. Maybe you had on the back burner. Maybe it's something you thought about years ago and you forgot about it. But now, you got a little bit more time on your hands. Something happened, triggered a memory. Oh, maybe I should do that thing that I thought about 20 years ago. Pick one thing a day and focus on that. Pick one situation a day that you want to see change in, that you want wisdom for, that you or gain wisdom for that situation to help you with that. A situation that maybe needs a little bit of humor because it's just been hard work all the time. It's like, you know what? Need a little break. Pick one situation today to focus on, meaning ask the goddesses for symbols and messages on a next path, right? Not the exact move because we make those decisions, but the path. What's a path I could take here that would be for my highest good? What's an affirmation I can say to help me with this situation? What's an action item I can do that you can lead me towards? And then maybe you'll take a shower, maybe you'll get a drink, maybe you'll take a nap, maybe you'll drive somewhere, you come back and you get an inkling to do something, or you hear something on the radio and it's like, oh, you know what? Yeah, when that song came out, I was at such and such store, and you know what? I haven't been in that store in a while. It's crazy that store is still there. And now the John's son is running the store. Let me go over there. And then you go visit John, and it leads you to some opportunity that you couldn't even imagine, right? So really take that into account. And that's why I like talking about the energies and not just the Sagittarius and the Venus, this and blah, blah, blah. I like to break it down a little bit so that way we can see how it applies to our lives. Okay, because these energies, while external, really play a huge part in our lives. This is why some days we have this extra energy. Fridays people are so revved up and happy, and some other days people are just like, sometimes some people days are Wednesdays and they just love the middle of the week. There's something about it. I don't know. But what I'm saying here is the energy, it ebbs and flows, but we at least know what that energy is. I'm not saying every Wednesday you're going to be this, oh, yes, I'm going to dive in and I'm going to read 5 chapters a day to get my wisdom levels up. Something like that. No. Okay. What I'm just saying is that now we are more aware, right? So when Wednesday rolls around next week, okay, you may not want to read 5 chapters. Your form of wisdom may be watching National Geographic, just relaxing. Something has nothing to do with spirituality. Okay, but maybe you'll learn something about, how to survive in an ice storm or something, so you never know. All right. Or you might write poetry that day. Okay, let's move on. So we have the full moon in Sagittarius, but it is, let me see. I have so many tabs up here. But it's square okay, so the moon is square in Jupiter, but it is in the constellation of Scorpio. And so I was thinking to myself, what the heck? I know I talked about this before where I think it was the eclipse. I think, was it the lunar eclipse back in December? I don't remember, but there was another eclipse, something, okay, where it was the moon was in one zodiac sign, but it was in the constellation of another. And because of that, that constellation zodiac sign energy also played a part in that eclipse. And so I wanted to understand what does that mean for the full moon in blank zodiac to be in blank constellation. And so I did a little bit of research. The zodiac constellation are those that it has here, which the sun appears to travel through during. Okay, I don't like the way they wrote this sentence. Basically, it's the way the sun travels throughout the year. So it's like it's traveling through these constellations. And of course, that's not the actual case because the earth revolves around the sun. But that's what it looks like. And that's my interpretation of it. And when the moon goes through the zodiac signs, that's what that's doing. The moon goes through the zodiac signs and the sun goes to the constellations. That's what I'm gathering. Not 100% sure because the information was scattered with that. So I would have to reach out to an astrologer for further confirmation or correction. But that's what it seems like. Nevertheless, the Scorpio energy is here. So let's look into that. All right. So the element is water for Scorpio, which is interesting because the moon influences water. So there's a lot of water energy going on, even though Sagittarius is fire. And, you can work with these elements too. So I'll get to, again, what we can do. All right. The colors, so you can wear scarlet, red, rust. The day for Scorpio is Tuesday. So your power day is Tuesday. If you want to, do something for a favorable outcome, you would want to ask for that promotion on a Tuesday if you're a Scorpio. And that may apply to Scorpio rising as well. Strengths: resourceful, brave, passionate, stubborn, a true friend. On the flip side, they have here disgusting, jealous, secretive, violent. Now, I have never met a Scorpio. That may shock the hell out of some people because every person who I've talked to are just like, oh my God, no, Scorpios. Ooh, stay away. And they have that stinger. I'm just like, well, every sign has their negative quality, So, I mean, I'm a Virgo sun, so I'm not about to sit here and, call out another zodiac sign. And my rising is in Gemini. And Geminis, my Geminis out there, you know how much hate we get. All right. So I'm not about to rip apart Scorpios, especially when I have never met one. Far as the energy is concerned here, passion sticks out me. Wow. Sticks out to me the most because when I read the overall summary for this full moon phase, it will make sense because the thing that's going to get you through this is how passionate you are about being committed to yourself, to your personal growth, towards ending things, towards beginning things, and all that jazz. Okay. And it states here, Scorpio born are passionate and assertive people. They are determined and decisive and research until they find out the truth. Scorpio is a great leader, always aware of the situation, always features prominently in resourcefulness. So this is a time that prominent in resourcefulness, again, you're going to get a lot of wisdom. You're going to uncover a lot of things. People are going to show their true colors even more. Let's get to the summary here. Because I know we have Jupiter to talk about, but I want to get to the summary real quick. And then we'll circle back to Jupiter because the moon is square Jupiter, which means there's a conflict. So let me, because it's going to make sense here. Okay. Full moon for this month is square Jupiter, which brings potential for greed, excess, and immorality. All right. Now, real quick, the square Jupiter. Square, and this is in astrology. The square indicates possible difficulty in uniting your sensitive feelings and emotions with your impulse to expand and manifest potential. The two sets of inner messages either conflict or fail to combine, reducing purpose and motivation. I am pretty sure I'll make a trading places bet, which is $1, that you probably are feeling the way I've been feeling, which is this weird in between state where that thing you desire or things you desire is right around the corner. It's right there, but it's this part of you that wishes you can speed up the process. Like, hey, can I speed up life by 3 weeks to get to that desire? And you want to bust out your skin because you've been seeing all the signs that everything is going to work out. But you're thinking, okay, what's the next step I need to make to get to that desire? What do I need to do? And then your motivation goes down. I've been experiencing this. I have been in a crazy mental headspace because of this full moon. And that's exactly how I felt back in December. And I reminded myself of that. And I talked about it on my Instagram stories where I had this almost doubtful feeling. Not almost, it was doubtful feelings. It was, I wanted to bust out my skin because I know something's good coming around the corner. I want to get to it. It was a lot of emotions and feelings that just reached the boiling point, right? Boiling point. And that's what it's saying here. Okay. Possible difficulty in uniting your sensitive feelings and emotions with your impulse to expand and manifest potential. It's that impulse, that, come on, I don't want to say instant gratification, but it's more so, okay, I put a lot of effort, time, blood, sweat, tears, money, everything. It's my time now. All right. So it's that impulse of how can I speed this up because I know now is my time. Okay. So that's what's going on here where it states moon square Jupiter. And Jupiter is the largest and most massive planet in this solar system. Okay. So this is a big deal. It's so big that it rotates with the sun and around a point set out of it. Wow. In astrology, Jupiter is the beneficent nature planet that gives us hope. How great is that? And then this page, I'm on astrology, zodiac signs, continues to say, every time we approach Jupiter in a horoscope, we have to remember that no transit, progression, or direction will cause any incredible positive circumstances happening unless if they are fully supported by the possibilities seen through one's natal chart. So if Jupiter currently moves through your, okay, I don't know anything about seventh house. Let me see here. Okay, it's talking about incredible opportunities it might bring if it actually comes into life. So Jupiter brings hope, opportunities. It's also a teacher, and if we choose to learn our system of beliefs and convictions, I can't talk, then we can better define our reality. So this is a time, again, just diving into great wisdom here. What are your beliefs? What are your convictions? What are your thought processes about yourself, where you're at in life, what you're doing? Again, don't be too harsh on yourself. We are learning every day. All right, we're making choices probably more than we realize. We make a choice to get out of bed. We make a choice to shower. We make a choice to wash our face, to brush our teeth, to go to the bathroom, to eat, to pick, somewhere to eat, or to pick something to eat, what to wear, how are we going to do our hair, our makeup. We make a bajillion choices a day. Large choices, small choices, mediums, all the time. All the time. Okay? So don't be hard on yourself if one choice led you down path B and you really should be on path B. You're recognizing that now. You are working with whatever information you had at the time, or you were doing whatever you had to do at that time. And now this energy overall is bringing up and out great change. So it's up to you to step up to the plate because it's all there. It's already laid out. It's just waiting for you to accept that change. Okay. Yes, Jupiter is the ruling sign of Sagittarius. It has here so each problem with Jupiter leads to problems with vision, imagination, imagery, and the sense of purpose. So the challenge is that it states here, it can bring is a total lack of meaning and purpose. The greatest challenge it can bring is a total lack of meaning and purpose in one's life. I don't know if you do this too, but sometimes I read something and I rearrange the words in my head as I think it should be in a sentence. And then I had to go back and reread it again as the way it's actually written. So, bear with me. My mind just does that like on autopilot. So anyway, what it's saying here is that it's Jupiter will challenge you because it is a teacher planet, not as harsh as Saturn, but it's saying here the greatest challenge it could bring is a total lack of meaning and purpose in one's life. So when you are figuring out or evaluating your beliefs and convictions that are defining your reality, you got to understand that if it's too stiff, you're not going to make any progress. And so you're stuck and you're unaware of a way to find a connection to the material reality because you're in this place of, contradicting beliefs, whatever the case may be. And, the problem is that Jupiter, that teacher, is going to help you understand, okay, well, here's the problem, the vision, the imagination. etc. Like you see what I'm saying here, your thoughts, your feelings. How is that now becoming an issue? Be careful of how you're talking to yourself. It's okay if you don't like something about yourself. You may say, oh, well, I wish my hair was fuller. That's okay. As opposed to saying, oh, my hair, I hate it. It's frizzy. And, it's a completely different tone of vibe. Even when I was saying it, I felt, ugh. So again, completely different. Oh, this hair color is getting a little dull. Maybe I should get highlights, ombre, beige, or something like that. Something that's different and little saucy. Something like it. That's the vibe. It's completely different. So keep that in mind because really your life purpose is at stake. If you don't change, then you're gonna, as the saying goes, if you keep doing what you're doing, you're gonna keep getting what you got. So on the blog, blog.tmariejohnson.com, I have there's two blog posts. One is the dates of all the lunar and solar eclipses for this year and what each eclipse mean. If you notice, I've been saying the full, well, like total eclipse, full eclipse, total eclipse is actually the right word. Which is really like a full eclipse, really is what it is, as opposed to partial, where, as it's saying, it's partial. Lunar, the total eclipse is when the sun, the moon, and earth are aligned. Oh, I'm sorry, wait a minute, excuse me. Did I read this right? A lunar eclipse is when the earth comes between the sun and the moon. Right, yeah, so it's aligned. My eyes wander a little bit, resulting in the sunlight being blocked from the moon. There are two kinds of lunar eclipses, total and partial. So that's when the earth, again, is between the sun and the moon. So the moon has that little reddish look to it. All right. I'm going to continue to read the summary. Oh, I almost forgot. The other blog post is new and full moon dates 2021. So I have the solar lunar eclipses 2021 and full and new moon, all the dates 2021. All right. But an even stronger influence comes from Mercury and Venus square Neptune. So again, square means there's going to be some conflict. I talked about Mercury and Venus in previous episodes. I think I talked about Neptune once. So you can listen to the previous Tia scopes, go to the description, and you'll see the zodiac link there with Venus, zodiac link, Mercury, Neptune. Okay. So confusion and deception are major themes of May 26th lunar eclipse. The combination of immorality and deception is good for propagandists, loan sharks, criminals, etc. But a danger for people who are weak, insecure, or vulnerable. Okay. The super full blood moon eclipse in the claws of the scorpion increase the risk of deception and treachery. It encourages mean people to be even more cruel, spiteful, and revengeful. These stars also increase the risk of infection from contagious diseases. So that sounds really like, oh my God, pending doom. Here's the thing. A lot of things are coming to an end. Okay. So remember that Jupiter is teaching us something here. So this is the final, hey, would you want this instead? Degree comes up, excess. Hey, you can be so comfortable here. You don't have to do anything. There's an excess of comfortability here. Why challenge yourself and go the hard route? That's just long and arduous. You just stay here on the sofa. Okay, immorality. I don't care. Whatever happens, So this is the final straw. This is the final test. This is why many people have been feeling the way they've been feeling, because it's just the way I can describe it. I'm just getting a vision is like when something's breaking through uh to their next stage, when the chicken is inside the egg and they had to hatch it. It's hard and they're trying and they're pushing it. Not saying that they should stay inside the shell, the egg, but it's one of those things that you don't know what's on the other side. You have this feeling that you should break through the egg or break through the cocoon, or whatever the case may be. You got a feeling that you should, but there are no guarantees. You don't know what's on the other end, right? But it needs to be done. So this is the last question of, are you sure? Or do you want to play it safe? And safe isn't always fun or happy or even safe, for that matter. It could be safe for some people in some ways, but overall, your happiness is at stake. All right, let's go to the oracle reading. And then we're going to talk a little bit about what it means for the lunar eclipse. All right, so I pulled 1, 2, 3, 4 cards. They're so beautiful. I am using spell casting oracle cards. All right. The first card I have here is Reconciliation. And it's 2 women in the ocean, and there's a big full moon in the distance, but it's very close to them. Just like this full moon is the closest it will be to Earth. And they're holding each other's hand, and where their hands meet, it's a bright light. And they're both leaning back, so it's like they're pulling away, but it's like the I'm going to fall back and I trust you to catch me. It's one of those things. So this would be like a cute Instagram pose, really. Both their hair is just flowing, leaning back there in flowy clothes. So what I'm getting from this card is that it really is a reconciliation with yourself. When I first saw this card, I thought, oh, maybe it is going to be them reconciliating with someone. But my feeling is that this is you with your higher self. This is you with you, and your emotions are getting back on track. They're going to be more balanced, more even. And when I say balance, I don't mean perfect, even kill. No, what I'm saying is it's going to be balance for you. How you define balance may be chaos for someone else. So what I'm saying is even the light, the ray of light is in the shape of a rainbow. So again, it's like that confirmation of everything's going to be okay. The water ripples are just nice. It's not too much. It doesn't look too rough. There's full trust. And that's what it is. It's just as a lot of things are being uncovered. Like I was saying earlier, you got that excess of things. You got that immorality that can pop up. This doesn't mean that you are the one who's going to be doing it, by the way. You can be experiencing that from someone. Okay, someone who betrays you, someone who gets greedy with you. It doesn't necessarily mean that you are the greedy person. So this can be you calling back your power, you doing more things that you want to do, things that are for you, that benefit you. And one of the ladies' skirt is a dark red too. So you also may be working on your lower chakras during this time, and actually work on your lower chakras. And then next we have a beautiful woman here, and she looks like Mother Earth. There are butterflies around her. And her hair, she has this cute curly afro, and she just looks so radiant. There's the moon behind her, and she has this flowy dress on. Her hands are crossed like she's hugging herself. And the word here is finding, finding, which makes sense now why my feeling for reconciliation is reconciling with yourself. So you are finding yourself in this time too. This isn't just about getting rid of people in your life. This is about getting rid of the old you. There are two butterflies in this, three butterflies in this photo that I see so far. And so that can represent three areas in your life that you are going to transform. Two of the butterflies are they're like a reddish color, and one's blue, and one of the red one is small. The second red one is medium, and the blue butterfly is bigger than both of them. So this could be a sign that it's time for you to focus on your throat chakra. The color is blue for the throat chakra, which deals with expression, speaking up for yourself, and also creativity regarding singers, artists, because that's forms of expression, as opposed to creativity with your sacral chakra, which is closer to, well, also creativity in the sense of expression, but it's in more so a relation to your personal power, which is your solar plexus, with your sacral chakra, also sexual energy, so sexual creativeness, creativeness with your body, things like that. So with this finding card, you're going to be finding yourself. There are three areas in your life that you're going to be changing. The two red butterflies, we can look at your lower chakras, in particular the root, also known as base chakra. The color for that is red, and it has to do with foundations. So foundations with yourself, with material things like money, with your relationships. And another way we can look at this is to go out there and connect with butterflies. Okay, go find out what a blue butterfly means as opposed to a red butterfly. The number 3, okay, ascendant masters with you. There are many ways to look at this card, but what I'm getting is that you're going to be finding yourself. And the fact that the moon is back there is signifying to me that you're going to be finding more. Oh my gosh, there's another butterfly. You're going to be finding more of your intuition. So I brought over the other card, and there's another blue butterfly. So yeah, this is a time of great transformation. While a lot of deception is happening, as it states on Astrology King, deception, or it states the clause of Scorpion increases the risk of deception and treachery. People are going to show you their true colors. Their age of getting away with lies has now ended. Okay, so it's never fun when someone betrays you, but you're always better off because now you know to cut that person off, as opposed to having them around even longer where they can do even more damage, which is unfortunate because the damage has been done. But at least now you can have an exit strategy for leaving that person. Some people are easier to leave than others, depending on your circumstances. For example, your spouse, okay, and the easy one could be someone who you're kind of sort of friends with, and turns out they're a jerk. So I understand. It's a case by case basis. So that's why I always say have a strategy. All right. So this card here, oh, this is so cool. This woman is so radiant. She has this beautiful golden hair, and then this golden light just becomes it. So like it starts off with hair, then there's a circle of light around her. So it phases out almost into this lighting golden light. There's a golden bird, maybe a golden hummingbird. I don't know if hummingbirds come in that color of yellowish gold, but that's what it looks like to me. And a blue butterfly. This woman's looking up. I can't even see her arms really. She's just part of the light. And gosh, yeah, she's really happy. And this is what's going to happen. And that was the point I was making. It's not fun when people betray you. It's never fun. But you get to clean up house. And you'll have more peace, more fun. You'll be so happy between finding yourself, getting rid of old belief systems, convictions that are just not helping you, just getting rid of that. People who aren't adding value in your life, situations that are dead end. When you get rid of all of that, you are going to be 10 times, 100 times more radiant, more happy, because now you call back your power, but also you call back your energy. Now you have enough energy to fuel your soul. You're going to start doing things that you long forgot used to make you happy, like dancing offbeat to your favorite song. Who cares, right? Or trying to do that new dance that you know you cannot do, but you're home, so who cares? No one's around. You're just going to be silly and happy, but it's the right amount of silliness and happiness for you. Which leads me to the last card here, and I chuckled a little bit because I was only going to pull 3, and I pulled this card at the last minute, and then it popped up when I was talking about Jupiter, and that's life purpose. And this is a tree that has multiple moons behind it, and I don't know if Jupiter has any moons. I don't think so. Maybe it's Saturn that doesn't have moons, but this tree has, gosh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6. It has a bunch of moons. Okay. And this tree is huge. Actually, it kind of reminds me of the tree of life. And there are no roots. It's just a tree, its trunk, and then it's connecting to a tree again. So it's similar to the ladies in the beginning of this reading, the 2 women who are holding hands and leaning backwards in the ocean is really 2 of the same woman. And here we are. It's 2 sides of the same tree. And there's a little golden light shining from the tree too. So with this, what I'm getting from this card is the as above, so below. Your life purpose is, and as we know, it's connected with our higher self. Like our higher self knows. We are not one-dimensional beings, also is what they're saying. Okay. Normal for us on Earth right now is to see 1 moon. That's not normal for another planet, right? Some planets have many moons. Figure out what's normal for you. Okay, because I'm looking now. I just typed in Jupiter moons is 1, 2, 3. Oh, there's a full. Oh God, Jupiter has a lot of moons. Okay, cool. Because I was trying to remember, because I know many moons ago, my cousin had this book and it just talked about all the planets and the moons and stuff, and I loved it. But anyway, so as above, so below. You are 2 sides of a coin, the coin of you, right? You can look at it as the yin and the yang, the male and female energy, your higher self in you, shadow working you to some extent, because it's really just you diving into the shadows of yourself. But this is the time, as you are really looking at your reflection, to figure out what's normal for you. I was on Instagram earlier today, and I forget what tribe he said he was part of. It was a Native American, and his hair is long. And so he had the caption, someone told him, "Why don't you just cut your hair?" And he said, "No, I'm good. Like I'm fine with this." And the person said, "Don't you want to be normal?" And he goes, "I am normal." And then he shows pictures of his ancestors and the culture, and like that is normal for men to have long hair. So what's normal for you? As I was saying earlier, your balance is someone else's chaos. Okay. So really think about this. When it comes to your life purpose, please just do it. People are going to talk shit about you either way. People are going to love you even more when you live your life purpose. I want you to win. I know you want you to win. I know there are people out there who want you to win. I want you to win. Your higher self wants you to win. Goddesses want you to win. Gods want you to win. The elves, well, I can't speak. They don't. But you get what I'm saying. Okay. That's why I end the podcast with "I'm rooting for you." Because I truly am. Okay. And the more we can understand what's right for us, which becomes our normal, the better off we'll be. This light that this tree is showing, it's in the center. It's your heart. So what do you want to radiate today? What beam of light do you want to get off? Imagine you're a Care Bear, but instead of a rainbow coming from your stomach, it's coming from the center of your chest. Okay. What's the energy you want the world to feel when you step out the house? How do you want to be identified as your energy? That's what people pick up, right? You can wear a sexy dress, you can have great perfume on, but if your vibe is off, it's off. People are going to pick up on that. Many people, especially if they're empaths or clairsentients, they're going to pick up on that and like, man, wow, that's crazy. She's in this beautiful dress. Perfume smells amazing. Makeup's on point, but her vibe is off. There's something going on here. I can't put my finger on it. Yeah, but then another woman walks in and maybe her dress isn't as nice and her makeup's pretty decent, but people are gravitating towards her. People can't get enough of talking to this woman. Why? Because it's the energy, it's the vibe, it's attractive, it brings people in. It's that allure, that mystery, all that jazz. And that's what I'm saying is you have to just do it. And it's like building blocks, living out your purpose. It starts off this way, you gain a little confidence, you do a few things, and sometimes it doesn't work out. Motivation goes down. You second guess yourself. Something else happens. You get your mojo back. You're a little bit more confident. You make a little headway, right? And then you hear stories about someone having to deal with the hater. And then you think, oh my gosh, what would I do? Please believe me when I say, if you work towards fulfilling your life purpose, you will be happier. You will be blessed beyond imagination. You will win. I'm telling you, you will win. And even if your trajectory changes, excuse me, along the way, that's okay. I didn't know I was going to be calling myself a witch. It just, as we grow, we learn more till we find our spot. It's like, oh, yes, here we are. Now everything makes sense why we went the way we went. Okay. So live out your life purpose because you win that way. Okay. The game of life is not fair. It's not. All right. But the game I like to play, my game, everyone wins in my game. I know everyone has different starting points, but everyone wins. Whatever that desirable win is for that person, everyone wins in my game. That's what I want. Everyone to do well, everyone to win, everyone to do well based on what they desire, whatever their well is. If that's having a family, fine. If that's a family with dogs and you don't want any children, great, do you. If you want to be in an open relationship, that's you. Like whatever is for you, live out that purpose. Because if you're not living out your purpose, or at least following those hunches that that piqued my interest, start to at least follow that. Because if you don't, out of fear that someone may say something, someone's going to discover that about you, and then now you just surrendered the hope that Jupiter was giving us, that wisdom energy that Wednesday's giving us, and all that jazz, the higher self that believes in us. We're giving all that up because some Joe Schmo coworker or family member is going to say something, judge. We can't think that way. We don't have to talk about what we do. We can give them a muggle response, a default response. And I help people with that in the past because, I don't also want you to go off and thoroughly explain yourself and then you're exhausted and you're like, well, that person really didn't care anyway. So, have some default responses, some muggle responses, and carry on about your business. But please, 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 please focus on living your life purpose. Okay, check in with your supportive people and ask them, where do I need to challenge myself? Things like that. Like now I'm focusing on changing my entire wardrobe to fully embody that witchy goddess look. I'm on a mission. So join me for that on my Instagram. Cosmic_witch_goddess. All right. So that was the oracle reading. I just had to stress that part about the life purpose. No, goddesses were just like, Tia, you have to tell them to live their life purpose. Okay. All right. Let's talk about the blood moon lunar eclipse, the lunar eclipse as a whole, the total lunar eclipse. Okay. This blood moon lunar eclipse is believed to bring realization and breakthroughs into our daily life. This is what I was saying earlier. So I'm on merkabastudy.com. Don't worry about it. Links in description. But just wanted to give a shout out, say where I got this from. All right. This brings a high emphasis on exploring adventure and following through your dreams. This is what I was just bringing in, reeling in, living out your life purpose. Please do it. All right. Some of us, maybe I saw the moon earlier today and I was trying to just never works. I need one of those high power cameras because it just never transfers well. All right, so this is a super moon. So I know it's a lot of words, but yes, it's a super blood full moon total lunar eclipse. It's a mouthful. All right, so basically the moon will be completely covered in the shadow of Earth. And so you'll be able to see this in United States, South America, parts of Australia, where it has the Western United States, New Zealand, the Indian Ocean, the Pacific Ocean, and parts of Southeast Asia. You lucky, lucky people. Blood moon appears red because of the moon being in complete shadow of the earth. The color may vary from bright orange, red, brown, or yellow. The longest and most spectacular colored blood moon appears on a total lunar eclipse, which is today. So I remember being a kid seeing the moon it was like this yellowish color one time. And at the time, this commercial was saying, I don't know if it was the Cheez-Its commercial, but I'm showing my age. This was like in the 90s. And the moon was made of cheese. And so as kids, we saw this moon that was this yellow, orangey yellow color. I'm like, oh my gosh, it looks like cheeses. The moon really is cheese. It's a cheese moon. And it was so close to the earth. It looked like I could have went on a rooftop and just touched it. I remember being outside with my friends and we were in disbelief that was the moon. And now as this witch, I'm like, oh, that makes so much sense now. But as a kid, I was like, oh, snap, the moon is cheese. All right. So how does blood moon affects us? The blood moon meaning can describe a couple of spiritual concepts. So it will shine light on the shadow self, as well as bring some transformational changes. We saw that. I talked about it with the oracle cards, transformation. The butterflies were there. Butterfly is a symbol for transformation. And shadow self, there was a lot of duality. There was the two women holding hands, the trees connected by the trunk. There are no roots. So, it's also, your higher self. We can also look at it as your shadow self. Again, just the other side of the coin. All right. So I'm just reading the last sentence here. Okay. When it comes to the blood moon meaning in magic, witchcraft, and spirituality, we need to focus on what gets illuminated during that time. Usually the blood moon shines the light on the shadow aspects of our psyche and things that might bring unexpected transformation. This is the time when truths come out to the surface and we can focus more on our overall alignment with life. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, even though treachery, all that is happening or will happen, the truth is coming out. It's a betrayal, but the truth is that now you know that person's true intentions. So it's a weird twist, but again, two sides of the coin. So what can we do during this lunar eclipse? Okay, I talked about how we felt. It was even stated in some of the websites that I read from. Again, it's that pull and tug of a way. We have that feeling within, but what's the next move, and can it happen right away, and all that. So it's a lot going on. But what can we do? I gave an example earlier. Pick one situation where you want to see change or transformation. And as for guidance, messages, a path, things like that, you can think about the transformation that needs to take place in your life and, meditate with your higher self. So you can ask for messages from goddesses and things like that, or you just have a conversation with yourself where you can meditate, you can get comfortable and sit upright, you can dance. Some people's form of meditation is washing dishes. I don't know, but that's one. When I used to have call-ins, one lady, she was just washing dishes with her thing. Driving for some people is meditative. So maybe even scripting. Think about ways you can connect with your higher self and do that as your form of meditation. to have that conversation to focus on what you want to change, or at least what you want to change first. What truths are you hiding from the world? But I would say hiding from yourself. There are a lot of things that we know about ourselves, but we suppress it as much as we can. It's not healthy. So figure out ways how you can let at least a little bit of that aspect of you shine through. All right. And then open up yourself to the world, because I'm telling you, you are an inspiration to someone. You just don't know it. You don't know who's been watching you, but I mean that in a good way. Practice self-acceptance. You have to accept yourself first and accept that you are ready to receive what you asked for, right? I'm not going to say the whole you are worthy and stuff. Like, yeah, we can go down that route, but I was guided to say, that because we can focus on saying things like, oh, I'm worthy of receiving and things like that. But deep down inside, you are worthy. It's already laid out for you, right? You just got to remember who you are and remember the process. So it's like, yeah, of course you're worthy. Totally. And if you don't feel like that, you feel like, I don't know if I'm worthy of this. Like, I think about it. I don't know. Hear me out. First and foremost, you most definitely are. Secondly, it's just a matter of focusing on confidence, boundaries, and location. Here's what I mean. The more you focus on being confident with yourself, and I'm not just talking about speaking up, I mean posture, I mean how you choose to wear your hair, how you choose to dress, how you have conversations, how you have your perspectives, all that matters. Okay. And I'm not talking about if you just don't feel like putting on a bra and you just have like a messy bun. That's totally cool. I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is a common occurrence where you don't care about how you look. You're just like, oh, it is what it is, right? That energy needs to change. Confidence isn't just about speaking up. It's the whole shebang. And then boundaries, just setting it up. And when we set up boundaries, what we're really doing is stating to the world what's acceptable and not acceptable with me. We're not saying that we're this mean person by saying, I don't like that or no, or something like that. We're just saying that's not for me. No, thank you. You can do that over there. And last, location. There are two ways to look at it, physical and mental. You can be physically in a place where you don't want to be, but mentally, your mind can travel wherever. So if you are living with people and you're just like, oh, I can't wait to leave out of here, or if you are just somewhere physically you just don't want to be, and you don't have the opportunity yet to leave, so you're just kind of stuck. So this is where the mental part comes through, where you can imagine, you can visualize, and visualization magic is some of the strongest magic you can use to visualize what you want to bring into your life, your desires. And the location is important because when we are working on our self-acceptance, when we are working on our desires and our truth and our life purpose, our surroundings matter too, right? think about when we walk into a clean room and the sheets on the bed are clean. Matter of fact, it just got out the dryer, so it smells good, it's fluffy. And now imagine dirty sheets that's kind of stuck together and is balled up, and you gotta, fling it out a little bit so that, it's like it's not comfortable, and you burnt all this energy just to go to sleep. Okay. Environment matters. You may even want to paint your room nighttime colors or dreamtime colors. Have a fragrance like lavender, to really make your environment fit for you. Whether you are a plant mom and you love the smell of, I don't know, aloe, okay? Or if you are a crystal mama, right? And you have your Dreamtime crystals in your bedroom, you have your rose quartz in the living room, okay? Your environment, your location is for you. And it is an environment that promotes your growth, your acceptance, just space for you to think, to be in your own thoughts. All right. Now this is a great time to focus on our emotional healing. So you can do some candle magic if you want. You could do sex magic if you want. Some people don't believe in doing spells, doing eclipses, because the energy can be a little crazy. I say just know what you get yourself into. If you want to use the energy of this lunar eclipse, which is everything, not everything, but which is a lot of what I covered in this lengthy episode, go for it. You can even look up spell recommendations for lunar eclipses. So I know we had one eclipse on Samhain, but it was in a Mercury retrograde. So that rainwater is chaotic. I still collected some of the rainwater, but if it's raining in your area, or even you can have your water out and let the full moon light hit it, or that nighttime air, fuse with it. And again, just continue your research and understand the energy of this eclipse, because this energy, if you want to use the water, can be to bring about the truth. You may drink the water, to bring about truth, or like sprinkle it on a mirror, and maybe when people walk by, they can't help but to tell the truth, like a truth spell. So just do some research and see what works for you. You do not have to do a spell. You do not have to use the water, eclipse water, or full moon water for this. You have to do any of that. If you're not comfortable. Some people are not comfortable with using eclipse energy, moon water. It's totally cool. All right. You can pull oracle cards for yourself. You can do the Celtic Cross. That is my favorite spread. It's a little bit more detailed, but it's a great spread. It's a 10-card spread, and it gives you insights on the past, present, future, the people who are around you, like your friend influence, and the probable outcome. And I say probable because oracle cards are guidance, and it's based on current situations. So depending on if you're someone who just says, forget it, I'm going path B, even though you were set on path A for a while, and the cards were saying, hey, yeah, you're on path A. If you stick with path A, this is going to be a high probable outcome for you. And you're just like, you know what? I'm just someone who goes with the wind. So I want B. It's like, okay, well, you may come back around, but that was the guidance for that. It had you stick with A. So keep that in mind. Okay. You may even want to connect with your inner child. The full moon energy is heightened energy. So just make sure you are prepared. That's all. You have heightened energy, full moon, full moon. So your energy, even if you feel like, oh, you know what, I've been tired this full moon, you're using a lot of energy as you're sleeping. You could be astro traveling somewhere, going to another realm. We do a lot. So what I'm saying is, if you want to do spell work, understand that you have the lunar eclipse energy, which is this powerful energy plus the powerful energy of the full moon. That's a lot. So if you are in retreat mode, I can understand because there's a lot of energy right now. If you are in this, I got a lot of energy up to burn, I got a lot of ideas, I got to get it out. I can understand that as well. Also, write everything down. Write how you felt during this time. Write the date. Write the time. Write what you did. Write what you're going to do. Write what you have done over the 3 days. And then reflect. And remember, the full moon energy, or excuse me, the full moon phase, is for 28 days. So think about for the next 28 days, whatever desires, whatever you worked on during this time, how can you embody that over the 28 days and beyond? And so I'm going to wrap it up by going back to Astrology King because there was something else that I wanted to read. Okay, lunar eclipse meaning. I wanted to wrap it up here because I talked about Sagittarius and just the square to Jupiter and all that jazz. All right. Like a regular full moon, only stronger, sun opposite of the moon, the lunar eclipse brings your home, family, and intimate relationships into sharper focus. Opposing forces such as work versus home or what you need versus what you want create inner tension and external pressures. This can lead to conflict and crisis that drain your energy. The lunar qualities of emotions and instincts reach their peak at a lunar eclipse. So use your increased emotional strength and intuition to overcome any relationship challenges. Subconscious awareness allows for an impartial and balanced look at your personal relationships. You will clearly see any relationship dynamic or negative feelings causing disharmony. A lunar eclipse represents a resetting of your emotions, clearing away any emotional baggage of the previous 6 months. There's a lot of endings coming. I've been saying this throughout this entire episode. There's a lot of great things coming for you. Ooh, the opportunities coming your way. But you have to be committed to closing the doors. To closing the doors to those relationships. You know which ones. Anything causing disharmony. And to be clear, even if you observe something that's shady, disrespectful, you can also distance yourself from those type of people. Like the saying I've seen on Instagram many times, I watch how people treat waitresses and janitors, that's how you can tell a person's real character. So that's what I'm saying. Even if you see someone, you're a little snippy with a waitress or look down on them, things like that, ask them, why do you do that? Why are you doing that? You all right? You good over there? What's going on? And if they say something that's really slick and just rude and foul, you are within your right to end whatever thing you had with that person. Because you know, if that was the profession you had, that's how that person would have treated you. And that's not cool. Okay. So really focus on what this lunar eclipse and full moon means to you, figuratively and literally. I don't know what to figuratively. As I was saying, I was like, how would that figuratively? Now I got myself. Now I'm thinking. But what I'm saying here is really think about these energies. It's a lot of information, but really take your time to think about how that applies in your life. There were a lot of keywords mentioned in this episode. Okay. And as the last sentence stated, clearing away any emotional baggage of the previous 6 months. 6 months. Give yourself time to process what you're feeling right now, because this is big energy. This isn't like little energy. This isn't just a regular new moon, a regular full moon, a waxing, waning. This is a full blood moon, total lunar eclipse. This is big energy. Give yourself space to honor that. And whatever you're feeling, you know, if I don't care if it's like 2:00 in the afternoon, you're like, oh, I need to take a shower. You need to do that cleansing. That's spirit guiding you to do that. Now, maybe you're somewhere where you're like, oh, I really wish I could take a shower and I can't. Wash your hands. Wash your hands to hold you over, and then take a shower when you go home. On that note, I am sending you so many blessings, lots of love. You know, I am rooting for you. Be kind to yourself, and I'll talk to you next time. Thank you so much for tuning in, Magical One. Let's keep in touch. Join the VIP email list by going to tiamariejohnson.com. And as always, I'm sending you lots of love, many blessings. I'm rooting for you. And remember to be kind to yourself. Until next time.